welcome to the course Curriculum Studies in Physics. And in Unit 1, we are looking at the concept of curriculum. We are looking at Session 2 of Unit 1. And under Session 2 of Unit 1, we'll be looking at the aims and goals of a curriculum. My name is Patrick Eji. Now, at the end of this session, you should be able to explain a program goal, program objective, program strategy, and program activity. Now, let's zoom in to find out what we mean by program goal, program objective, program strategy, and program activity. Now, program goal, a goal. So we are saying that a program goal is a clear and concise general statement of the overall purpose of the physics program. So let's take note that anytime we mention a goal, it talks about a general statement. Now, a goal is usually not stated in quantified terms. It should be sufficiently definite that it points clearly to the ensuing program. Good. Now you're saying that a program goal should point towards some long-term effect, change, or purpose, and must have a strategic force. What do we mean by strategic force? We'll be looking at that in the subsequent example that will be given. Let's take a look at this example of a program goal. A goal of printing 200,000 copies of physics textbooks may be a very commendable physics program goal, but it lacks what we call a strategic force. Now, the strategic force is lacking here is that the 200,000 physics textbooks that are being printed, what purpose will it serve? What is the goal? What is it going to serve? Which people are going to use it? How long are they going to use these materials? So all these are not captured in the goal. And so although when we look at it, it looks good to serve as a program goal. However, it lacks what we call a strategic force. Now let's take a look at examples of the program goals. So to develop a basic physics program for the science students in Cape Coast Municipality to enhance their understanding of kinetic theory of gases. So when you check this goal, we are designing or developing a basic physics program. Which people is or are this program going to serve? The program is going to serve science students in the Cape Coast Municipality. What is the purpose of this program? It is to enhance student understanding of kinetic theory of gases. So when you check this example, you realize that it has in it what we call a strategic force. It has stated in it the purpose, the group of people, how it will be used. All this must be captured to get a well-defined program goal. Another example is organize a 3-year pilot program in engineering physics for the schools in Central Region. And finally, mount a campaign to promote the use of local materials for teaching physics in senior high schools in the Cape Coast Municipality. So these are examples of program goals. Now we move on to program objective. And an objective may be defined as the specific and quantifiable statement of a program achievement. So we made mention that a program goal is not quantified, but the objectives are quantifiable statements of the program's achievement. And it is a statement of measurable outcome, which can be used to determine the progress towards the program goal. Now, collectively, the objectives represent quantification of the program goal. That is, how much goal has been achieved. Now, let's take a look at examples of the program objectives. So, the program will produce 4,000 physics graduates within 4 years to feed the secondary schools in Ghana. So, looking at this objective, a goal can be develop a program to produce teachers to feed senior high schools in the Cape Coast municipality or in Ghana. But the objective this time must be quantifiable. So we design a program that will produce 4,000 physics graduates within 4 years to feed the secondary schools in Ghana. So it must be measurable and it must also be specific. Another example, the program will organize a 7-member program guidance team to look for sponsorship to promote nuclear physics program. And then the program will organize 12 workshops on teaching of challenging topics in the senior high school physics syllabus. And you realize that this is a program objective that we all have to embark on, because we have some topics that are challenging and most teachers, we sometimes ignore those topics. Now, program strategy. So a strategy may be defined as a well-organized set of program activities designed to achieve a specific goal or objective. So that is the step-by-step approach that will be used in order to achieve the objectives of a program. Now, a good program strategy make use of action verbs. So verbs like implement, develop, organize, create, design, train, write, acquire, and so forth. So every program strategy must have an action verb in it. Example of a program strategy. So let's take a look at this program strategy to see if we can identify the action verb in it. The program will train 15 physics supervisors by means of a combined program of consultant mentoring, weekly in-service training, and 1-week physics supervisor course taught by the Department of Science and Mathematics Education in the University of Cape Coast. Now, can we identify the action verb? And I hope your guess is as right as mine. So the action verb here is the train. So the program will train. All right. Now let's look program activity. Program activity. And we are saying that the program activities are those events. So events such as workshops, field trips, classes, experiments, meetings, which will enable the specific goals and objectives to be achieved. So in the strategy, we state the step-by-step approach. Now in the activity, what must be put in place to ensure that the objectives are being achieved? Now, every activity must have these characteristics. And the first of them is that it must be measurable and specific. So every activity must be measurable and specific. And they must also be well-defined events with very clear beginning and end points. So, for instance, the program will start in January and end in December. So we know that in 12 months period, we must finish this program. And also, the program activity must be made up of a number of activities. It shouldn't just be only just a single activity to help obtain or achieve the objectives. Now, detailing program activities. So we are taking a detail of the program activities. And we are saying that the program goal, the objectives, and the strategies are like a skeleton. So when we take the human skeleton, let's go back to biology, you realize that the skeletal system is only made up of bones. And so we must have flesh attached to this skeleton to make it a complete whole. So the program goal, the objectives, and the strategies that have been mentioned are like the skeleton. And they only give an idea of the basic structure of framework of the human body. So defining program activities is adding muscle to the skeleton to give you a complete picture of the program. Now here are some things you must do when you define program activity. Define activities for each program component. Now, to achieve a goal, we said the goals are translated into several objectives, and each objective will have a series of activities that will be done in order to achieve that objective. And so we must define activity for each component of the program to enable us achieve that specific objective. Also, each component must be made up of a program objective plus the supporting strategy. So the objective plus the step-by-step approach in achieving that objective. Again, you must review your activities with an expert to find out whether the activities you have really stated can really help to achieve the said objectives. Give attention to other planning details such as scheduling, completion dates, the needed inputs, and the cost. Remember, we mentioned that one characteristic of a program activity is that you must give clear beginning and ending points. So in detailing your program activity, you must pay attention to scheduling. When are we starting the program? When is the program ending? All these must be taken into consideration. Review your list of activities to determine if they are consistent and coherent. Find out whether the activities that you have stated, they can really help you achieve the goals, achieve the objectives that has been stated. Then ensure that you have not specified activities which are dependent upon other activities that have not been defined. So you have stated an activity which will be performed. But before we can do such an activity, it is dependent on a subsequent activity. When this is done, it becomes difficult to perform such an activity. Then you must allow enough time for the program activities. Students, today we have looked at the aims and goals of curriculum. And under the aims and goals of a curriculum, we look at a program goal, the program objective, the program strategy, and the program activity. We made mention that in the program activity, we must specify timelines. So when you look at the program you are pursuing, you realize that you have a time frame within which you will finish this program. We will end this session here and continue the next session in another time.